Hi, I'm Virginia Adams. I go by Ginger. And this is my story and how reconnective healing has affected me, impacted me. Um, Better words than impact and affected, but they'll come as we talk. Um, my background is in medical practice management, and I did that for many years. And it was in Western medicine. And I led large groups of people and of physicians and practices. And I always have come from a patient advocacy focus in my career. And so I've always had a heart for people. And there's always been that intuitive spiritual side to me. Actually, I used to call it the dichotomy of Ginger because it was definitely two-sided. That side did not show up in any way, any ways or mean in my practice life, except for the way that I dealt with employees and with patients. Was always in a kind and caring and probably from a heart space. Now I have a better name for it, but for my own health and well-being, I always look to alternative medicine. Why? I don't know. There's nothing in my background or in my family that would have led me there. It's just what I did. And in that pursuit, I started studying a particular modality of energy healing. And I actually invested quite a bit of money in it and studied hard and learned all of the protocols. And that was about a 2-year process that I was going through, but I never was able to jump in or to use it or to think of myself as a practitioner or to even imagine opening my own practice or doing this, as a career, I guess, or a life purpose, I guess, is a better word. And so I was visiting my niece in Salt Lake in November of 2015. And I was kind of relaying this to her. I had just come from my last training and was moving on to mastery. And I was telling her that there was so much fear around the practice of it and that it conflicted with everything that I had been doing on a personal level of trying to lead a life that stepped away from fear-based anything, a fear-based life. I have suffered greatly from fear, and my duties as a practice manager was risk management. My job was to, on a daily basis, evaluate and seek out anything that could be damaging to the practice, to an employee, to a patient. And so I spent a lot of time in a fearful state. And I actually mothered in that way also. I have 3 children, grown children, and it was always about fear. What could happen? What's going to happen? There was always fears. I didn't know that, and so my spiritual practices had been leading me towards peeling away those the level of fear in my life. And so I had started to implement different things. So relaying to my niece that, that there was so much fear around this healing modality that I was practicing that I just didn't know how to step in. And so she said, well, why don't we do a session on each other while you're here? And I'll do one on you and you'll do one on me, and I'll give you some feedback. And so I in turn said to her, oh, so you'll do Reiki on me, and I'll do the modality that I was using on her. And she said no, that she didn't do Reiki anymore, and that she had several years before, I think it was 3 or 4 years before, gone to Dr. Pearl's seminar and had learned Reconnective healing. I had never heard of Reconnective healing, And actually, I kind of felt cheated on by her because she had never told me about her experiences. And as she was talking to me, she mentioned that she actually could feel the buzz as she was talking to me. And she tried to share that with me, but I was like, I had no idea what she was talking about. So in turn, we went, she took me into her healing room, and she simply just had me lie down on a table and close my eyes. There were no sounds, no smells, no incense, no crystals, no bucket of salt water, no alcohol spray. It was just, I was to close my eyes, and that she would touch me on the shoulder when she was done. It was completely hands off. And I truthfully did not have a deep or something that I could say was a profound experience during my session, but something changed. And when I got off of that table, needless to say, I never did a session on her, and I never have practiced that other modality again. And I felt compelled, urged, or very weak words for what was going on inside of me. Yearned is probably a better word. And to know more, to discover these frequencies. So I read Dr. Pearl's book, and read it once, read it twice, read it 3 times, 4 times. I can't tell you how many times I've read or listened to the book. And each time it was like coming home to me. The fear was gone. This is exactly what I had been looking for, exactly what my soul had been yearning for. This is the seeds that I had been planting in search of a healing modality, something that brings balance, health and well-being into patients' or people's lives without the fear. Everything in Western medicine and a lot in other modalities is so fear-based. And to practice or not even to practice, to facilitate and to share a frequency and a modality that actually diminishes fear. It peels away the fear. And it opens up places within, it opened up places within me. And now I see that in my clients. So much so that I left my career as a medical practice administrator, and I opened up my own practice. You know, that's pretty cool for somebody who promoted others for years and made a career of it. I opened up my practice where I'm the practitioner and I'm the facilitator, and and in such joy and awe that I get to bestow this gift, this beautiful gift of reconnective healing and the reconnection with anyone who's searching or seeking for that health and well-being in their life. Anyone who is seeking, yearning, as I was, for a life that is full of possibilities, where fear is diminished and love blooms and creates. What I've been able to create for myself is beyond imaginable. What I've seen others create for themselves is beyond its magic. It's truly magic, but in a sense, not of woo-woo or voodoo. It's magical because we are actually aligning ourselves with something much greater than any of us. And it brings me such peace, such joy. And I'm honored to be a part of Reconnective Healing, to be a foundational practitioner, and also to facilitate reconnections. Until my next chat with myself, because this is what this is. I'm chatting to myself and telling myself my story as I share it with you. Until then, be well. Sending you lots and lots of light and love.